as 114,000 people catch their breath, try to take in what they've just seen. So do all the reporters, and they shower tinsel from the seats high in the stands to mark a football match that belongs in the game's Hall of Fame.
And indeed, what a wonderful thing that the final should be such a climax to the World Cup competition. There have been something like 2.4 goals scored per game. In the final, there were 5, and they came in such dramatic fashion. The Argentines proved that they are not a one-man team. Although Maradona played his part here and there, it was an heroic performance against the German side that wouldn't give way and wouldn't give beaten. They were thorough, they were methodical, but in the end they were beaten by flashes of outstanding skill, which is the way in which games of football should be sold. And Maradona is lost in that crowd. It's a festival now, a glorification of a marvellous game of football which 114,000 people have witnessed in the stadium and 500 million throughout the world. A wonderful occasion, as sporting as one could have expected it to be on both sides. They competed to the full. They tried everything they knew, tactically, skillfully, physically, and as far as stamina was concerned. They'll know they've played at the end of the day Argentina and West Germany, who provided us with a spectacle that we shall remember for a long, long time.
West Germany finish as runners-up in the World Cup for the second time running, but I think they'll be more pleased with their performance in the second half here today than they were in Madrid 4 years ago. And it's no reflection on Franz Beckenbauer's side or the way he's managed them that in the end they came out second best, because Argentina, having let the 2-goal lead slip, suddenly moved into another gear almost from the kickoff. Somewhere in that sensational second half, we were trying to keep a check of the bookings. Not that it matters, there were 7 of them in all, but it wasn't a match played in anything other than the proper spirit, bearing in mind the competitive nature of something as important as a World Cup final. So Carlos Bilardo, Dr. Bilardo, who's known, as I said earlier, affectionately as Big Nose, has succeeded in doing what his predecessor, Cesar Luis Menotti, did 8 years ago, but Menotti did it at home. Bilardo and this young Argentine side have done it in another country, if not on another continent. They finished strongly, as World Cup winners tend to do. We recall Italy 4 years ago. Well, Argentina picked up pace from the second round onwards. They seem to have the taste for the knockout football, and when it required a knockout punch here, just 6 minutes from the end, it was provided by Burruchaga, and it gave Argentina victory in the 1986 World Cup final in a match as gigantic as the stadium by 3-2. Franz Beckenbauer disappointed, but the trophy will go to Argentina. And how many interviews Diego Maradona is going to have to do now, we can't really guess. But the flag tells the whole story.
And our congratulations to Gary Lineker for being the leading scorer in the 1986 World Cup. That's a marvellous achievement which I'm sure you and everyone will remember for many, many years to come. To have beaten Maradona at his own game is no mean feat. Well done, Gary.
And also the consolation for England that the team that put them out, and only did so narrowly, have indeed ended up as world champions, which just goes, I think, to emphasise how well England played in the second half of that quarter-final.
And of course, it could be said Scotland were beaten narrowly by the World Cup finalists as well. If we want some consolation, but I don't think too much consolation is needed. The teams that went out there did their best. There have been unlucky teams, maybe the Danes, the Russians, a fine side, the Belgians, who made the most of everything they got, really, the Brazilians, who relied a little too much on age, and the English, who were narrowly beaten by a goal that was disputed and will be talked about for many, many years. But all in all, it has been a wonderful World Cup, not marred by too many things. Perhaps there are some lessons to be learned from refereeing, which will help everyone, which will help the players, and will help football to be an even better game for the world to enjoy in the future.
So, Argentina crowned world champions in this immense theatre of football, the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. The final score in the 1986 World Cup final, Argentina 3, West Germany 2.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, John. And some scenes of considerable chaos going on there in the Azteca. We'll stay with those pictures on and off for the next few minutes as we reflect on that match with the panel here in London and those goals. And with a 1-0 lead at half-time, Terry, we thought that the Germans would struggle to get back. We certainly thought they'd struggle to get back when they went 2 down.
That's right. But as we've said before, we can never count them out, and we've got to give them a tremendous amount of credit for sticking at it and sticking at it. But I think there's got to be a certain amount of criticism towards the Argentinians for losing the identical goal. That's Enrique, who's, for me, the one thing about Maradona not playing so well today, I mean, he played his part, certainly, and is Enrique and Burruchaga have got some credit. I mean, they've got some good players. I think it's almost...
And Valdano, who got that?
Yeah. I think it's almost offensive to be saying that Maradona played for any other team, that they would be in the final. I mean, these are good players. They've played 7 games. They've been there all the time. And he is an outstanding little player. I mean, he's tremendous.
He took this well,
there's a lot of
didn't
good
he?
players. Well, Enrique made the first run and released him off onto the left and took it well on his right foot.
Maradona enjoying the congratulations of everybody, naturally. And then the Germans came back, and it was Rummenigge, who we were saying perhaps lacking a little bit of pace, Laurie, and all the rest of it.
Well, he showed the instincts here. I said it, this was a Gary Lineker goal, this. He's in the 6-yard box, and an instinctive move there, and it's just a pity he hadn't got the one away in the first half. But that got them back into the game, and as Terry said, the second goal is an identical one, where a man was unmarked in the box, which they started to rock a bit after that, didn't they? But I would have thought it was going to be extra time, but they nicked the one near the end, and I think they were rightful winners.
Let's just look at the equalising goal, where the West Germans came right back into it. And
well, if you watch it, the near post there, the fella's working ever so hard to get away from his mark, and he's got away there. Look, and he's on his own, and that was good work on his behalf.